We've got a full house of rabid Rocket fans packed in the arena here in Houston, Texas. Well, we can finally say it. The NBA regular season is about to get underway. And here at 2K Sports, we couldn't be happier. This is Kevin Harlan along with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony with Doris Burke reporting on the sidelines. A battle in the Western Conference, this Houston crowd hoping to watch their Rockets come out on top. Now the starting group for the Denver Nuggets. Fareed and Nurkic in the middle. Foyle is out there with Moutier, and it's Chandler in at the 3 spot.
Well, one thing about Ty Lawson is he's very good at attacking the defense. Gets inside without a problem and knows how to set up teammates.
And for Lawson, he is great when he attacks. He does obviously create well for his team on drives. Interesting player, certainly, but playing with a team that's growing and pretty young around him.
A good point. And, you know, last season, Lawson averaged about 13 points for his team off of his own drives. I mean, that means 13 points a night would be a direct result of him attacking the rim. That's second in the league in a stat that only trailed James Harden.
I think that would surprise some people.
Yes.
Well, free throw good from Moutier. Well, perhaps one of the most intriguing draft picks of this past summer, Emmanuel Moutier. Can be a game-changing player. Was going to play, Clark, as you recall, at SMU for Larry Brown.
He sure was, and went overseas instead. So we don't know a ton about him other than his reputation is sterling. Now we'll see if he can live up.
For his very first official NBA playing time, we're going to check out our first glimpse of professional basketball from Watson.
You know, he's a great young player and even a better young man. So personally, I couldn't be happier for him. I know he's thinking about the game, but I hope he's able to take a moment to just enjoy this accomplishment.
Well said.
The scoring fast and furious as we end the first quarter. Rockets lead by 4. And just a moment with the start of the second quarter. Well, earlier we sat down with Freak and asked him about playing in his first NBA game.
You know, I've thought about this moment my entire life. Now that it's finally here, the feeling's pretty crazy. But I know it's just the beginning. I got a lot of hard work ahead of me to get to where I want to go, to be the best player and the best teammate I could be. But this is an exciting first step, no doubt.
You know, Clark, you don't see that kind of perspective from most rookies, do you?
You really don't, Kevin. I mean, I really like his approach to the game. What remains to be seen, though, is will that translate to consistent production on the court.
And now the second quarter just getting set to start. And looking at what we've seen from Houston, what do you guys think?
I tell you what, the scoring has come in threes for the most part here so far.
Every time down the floor, it seems they're knocking down the triple.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor, all fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. So on the floor for Denver, Watson in at shooting guard. Joey Dorsey is out there with Hickson. Then it's Nelson, and it's Gallinari in at the small forward position.
Shooting two.
And that one misses. Well, looking back on last season, you didn't know where the Rockets would end up in terms of seeding in the playoffs. Ended up with the 2 seed because they won the Southwest Division. And as it turned out, everything worked out very well for them. And mark that bucket down, folks. That's the first career basket from Watson.
And a scrappy one, but he'll take it. It doesn't matter how you get those first points in the NBA. It just matters that you get them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there will be plenty of chances to create spectacular highlights in the years to come for this young man. But right now, he just wants those first points. And, you know, for the Rockets, they had a major gut check in the second round. Went down 3-1 against the Clippers. Came back to win the series in 7, including Game 6. When I dozed off when they were trailing by 19 in the 4th, and was shocked to wake up in the morning and see they had forced the 7th game.
And breaking down some numbers here, the hustle stats for the Rockets.
They've come out in attack mode on the defensive end. They've applied pressure and forcing turnovers.
You know, another thing they've done well, guys, this first half is challenge shooters and change shots. A bunch of block shots early.
And And with the Rockets' last postseason, their trip to the conference finals was as far as they would go. Went out to the Warriors in 5 games. Most of them, though, close ones. I think most fans were pleased with how far the team went last year in spite of all the injuries.
And here we see the debut of Freak, the kid from Harlem. His first time on an NBA floor. And Clark, it's a moment that he's worked very hard to achieve, and his family has got to be proud.
Extremely so, Kevin. It's been a long journey for him, but every level along the way, he's found success. High school phenom, playing for a college championship. I wouldn't bet against this kid on anything at the time.
Now with Freak, Clark, there was a question whether he would stay another year in college. Really was a tough decision for him, but he ended up coming out after his freshman year.
And, Kevin, it's really hard to blame a guy like Freak for doing that. I mean, he's clearly NBA ready, and he's putting a lot at risk for every year he stays in school when he could be on the NBA clock.
Looking at who's out there now for the Rockets. Monty Eunice is checked in for Jones. Reza comes in for Brewer. James Harden, he's checked in for Marcus Thornton. And it's Patrick Beverly in for Ty Lawson. The Nuggets trail by 3. There's the dish to Watson. And that one's good. His second basket of 4, shooting 50%. Here is Harden. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. And Yusuf Nurkic, really a big, good-looking young prospect. He's the guy that took Mozgov's place in Denver.
Yeah, originally, Kevin, drafted by the Bulls at number 16, then traded to Denver, as you indicated. His sheer size alone, 7 feet, 280. That makes him a force on the glass.
Just 5 on the clock. The Nuggets need to get a shot off here. Got a hand on it. And here we go. Fast break. Beverly's got it. That's good. 9 points for Trevor Ariza.
Great hustle to turn the block shot into a fast break hoop. That's a big-time play.
At the elbow, it's Freak. The 10-footer. No good. Harden with the defensive effort. And here we go. Harden heading to the hoop. Ariza has the open look. And a little luck that time, but it drops. And now a 5-point Rocket lead.
And the transition defense now, guys, non-existent, invisible.
Yeah, 3 straight fast break buckets here. The D seems to be sleepwalking.
And so it's a close game as we wrap up the first. The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game. Without for the Nuggets. Joey Dorsey's checked in for Nurkic. Freak comes in for Wilson Chandler. And Jameer Nelson is subbed in for Moutier. Harden and Ariza filling out the perimeter. Monty Eunice and Howard the post pair. And it's Lawson in at the point guard. That's the 5 for Houston right now. And so it looks like Denver will retain possession here. And now around 2 minutes gone by in this half. Monty Eunice with the steal. Oh, and a fast break for the Rockets. Here's Harden. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up. Guys, I'm not sure there's a better star player who's a better fit for his team's philosophy than James Harden. Clark reflects the Rocket system perfectly.
I don't think you're wrong on that, Kevin. I mean, the Rockets, an analytically minded team. They love layups, free throws, and threes. Harden can get all of those done.
The first free throw is good.
And Harden, either intentionally or not, is really the poster child for a new era of analytics that's starting to drive basketball. I mean, he generates a lot of points, but most importantly, he does it with tremendous efficiency, in part because he lives at the free throw line. And that's the norm for him. He's pretty much automatic when he's at the line.
Now, here's Watson. He's tightly guarded. Block shots, a stat that sometimes doesn't tell the whole story. Big-time shot blockers aren't always elite defenders. And then the opposite is true. Their block shot totals don't quite capture that great impact they really have defensively.
You know, and Akeem the Dream, certainly one of the greatest all-around players to have ever played the game. An endless array of offensive moves down low, no doubt. And defensively, his numbers speak for themselves. I mean, almost 4,000 career blocks, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, just a legendary low-post defender.
Marcus Thornton, he's checked in for Houston. Nelson against Lawson. The dish to Moniunas. Just 4 to shoot. The Rockets again can't hit.
And, you know, for the Rockets, acquiring James Harden might be the trade of the decade. You look at what they gave up, and it's hard to argue that they didn't win that transaction in a big way.
Now, here's Thornton. He has 5. The shot's good from Lawson. Third quarter here, and 3 minutes have come off the clock. Fareed, a screen on Lawson.
Move the ball. Sticking too much.
Nelson with it. He's been patient so far. Nothing yet on the scoreboard. Screen by Fareed. 6 to shoot. Here's Foy. The shot will not go. And the Rockets take it the other way. And it's Kenneth Fareed with the foul. That will get him his 4th foul of the game.
He just picked up his 4th personal foul, and now he's got some foul trouble hanging over his head, guys.
There's 47 seconds left to play in the final quarter. So on the floor for Denver, Watson, he's in at 3. Nelson is out there with Will Barton. Then it's Joey Dorsey, and it's Nurkic in at center.
And you know what? That's one of those heat checks if he's taking shots like that.
Yeah, heat check or not, I don't care how hot he may or may not be. He's not making that one.
Now here's Beverly. He's covered by Watson.
That's his first personal foul. 5th team foul. Shooting for Houston.
That's good from Beverly.
Taking 2 shots.
Both free throws good from Beverly.
You've got to figure those are the free throws that officially put this game out of reach.
Beverly against Nelson. Nelson off the pick from Watson. It's stolen by Jones. Here's Beverly. So we see the Rockets taking the win here. A confident win, and one where they clearly showed the greater effort.
They certainly put on a good